Welcome, surf fans, to the Corona Post Show. What a day of surfing in the books. The Corona Open Mexico, presented by Quicksilver, just went off 12-plus hours of power. We've got a lot to unpack. This is going to be an epic post show. I'm Chris Cote, joined by Calais Carranza and Kaipo Guerrero. Leave it, the surfers, they did the work. They provided the energy. That could have gone two ways, but thankfully we saw some of the biggest performances we've seen all year, and the vibe got lifted up by the best surfers in the world, surfing some of the best waves we've seen this season. What more can you say about today?
Well, and what a way to finish it off. Mateus Herdy, he has come to the fiesta. He arguably is the best young surfer in the world, and he showed it today, taking out Italo Ferreira.
We had upsets. We've had landmark performances. We're talking about getting to our final 5 qualifications, re-qualifying for the 2022 tour. So much to talk about, but I am inspired by the performances by both the men and the women that we saw today, Chris.
No doubt. Well, of course, a shocking yet warranted turn of events with the cancellation of the upcoming Fiji event. That means our final 5 are locked in for men and women. Let's start with ladies first. Your Rip Curl WSL finals will be these 5 surfers: Carissa Moore, Joanne Defay, Sally Fitzgibbons, Tatiana Weston-Webb, and Stephanie Gilmore. Kaipo, one of these women will be our world champion.
Yeah, and you know what? I love looking at number 5 and number 1 because both surfers really have the equal chance of coming through in this great format that we have set. We're going to have the champion crowned in the water. Stephanie Gilmore can come through this entire field, I feel, at lower trestles, and meet up with Carissa Moore in the final. Pretty good.
Well, we're going to have to see after all the points are tabulated after this event what the final rundown will be. But these are your final 5 for the women. Calais, the men came down here with a lot to prove, not knowing that this was going to be the final stop of the 2020 Championship Tour. Here is your WSL Final 5. Medina, Toledo, Ferreira, Connor Coffin gets in, and the rookie, Morgan Siblick. This list right here was unexpected. Kaipo's jumping out of his skin. You called it, didn't you? You called it.
I humbly want to say
we don't have to be humble about it.
We had a debate show with myself and Strider Wazalewski. One of the topics was, and it's been all year, I've been backing this young man up, Morgan Siblick, and he ended up where I thought he was going to be. He is in that final 5. I think it's great.
Own it.
One thing to note is that there's 1 goofy footer on the women's side and 3 on the men's. I like it.
Go Goofy. I'm going Goofy. Well, speaking of going Goofy, we've seen some of the biggest performances ever from our goofy-footed surfers. We've got one of them right here on the glass with Mitchell Salazar standing by with Italo Ferreira.
Thanks, Chris. Italo. An exceptional heat out there against Mateus Herdy, a close one. Didn't advance out of the quarterfinals, but I'm going to congratulate you on clinching your spot in the WSL Final 5 and now having an opportunity for the World Championship at lowers. How does it feel?
Yeah, that's one of my goals, and I'm so happy to be on that position, and I had a good hit with Mateus, and he smashed in the last wave, and I'm so stoked for him, and yeah, so now I'm thinking for the last event of the year, and put all the energy on that event, and win that thing, and that's what I want. That's my, this is my goals right now, and yeah, I'm ready for that.
On another side note, how much have you enjoyed Mexico so far?
This is a special place. There's a lot of wave, and the people are so cool, and yeah, I'm so glad to be back here, after almost 10 years. I was super kid when I come here for the first time, and have been enjoying a lot with Marcos and Buchecha, one of my best friends, and yeah, so now it's time to go home and be ready for the next event, next challenge.
Awesome. Thank you for your time, and good luck at lowers.
Yeah, thanks.
Chris?
Thanks, Mitchell. Well, from what we know about Italo Ferreira, no days off. He does have a lot of fun, but he trains as hard as anyone. He'll be ready for the Rip Curl WSL Finals coming up this September. But before we get there, we've got some business to take care of here in Mexico. Let's take a look at the bracket for the upcoming semifinals for our men. You can't talk about this bracket without talking about quarterfinal number 1. David Silva taking out Gabriel Medina. He will match up against Leonardo Fioravanti. Jack Robinson will match up against Mateus Herde. No pundit in the world could have ever picked this semifinal. Calais, there are some surprising names on paper when you're looking there, but after you watch them for the last 3 days, no surprises with these matchups.
I like how you said, if you've been watching them surf over the last few days, it is no surprise to see David Silva take out Gabi Medina. He surfed so well, and he's done it for 3 days. Ever since we got here to this competition in the afternoon, I was blown away by this guy surfing. He's a little bit more petite in stature compared to Gabi and, for, say, Owen Wright, but he throws buckets up and above the lip.
Kaipo, this was a true David versus Goliath story. We were all freaking out watching this heat.
Well, I look at this as, you know, the depth of the championship tour. And some of that depth is illustrated right here with David Silva. You know, just a participant in the championship tour, but guess what? He took down big names and he put on big performances.
Yeah, and this was a sentimental, emotional win for David Silva. Things don't always go his way. He's kind of always hovering around the lower middle of the pack on the championship tour. But this was a massive statement. You know, didn't do it in the air, didn't do it in a huge flashy way. What he did it with was pure power and passion. And to take out an informed Gabriel Medina on a wave like this is a huge, huge statement for young David Silva.
Well, you talked about not going to the air. He could. He's just as good up and above the lip. The waves that we had today really gave the surfers the opportunity to connect with the lip. No need to really go to the air unless you're Mateus Herde against Italo Ferreira.
And look, I know we're all huge Medina and Italo fans, but isn't it nice to see some fresh faces making their way into the semifinals? I mean, the men's bracket is going to be so exciting, but now let's flip it over to the women's bracket. Equal shakeups on the women's side of things. We saw some huge matchups go down. Malia Manuel is in incredible form right now. She's going up against Sally Fitzgibbons, Carissa Moore, and Stephanie Gilmore. Come on, Kaipo, is there a more iconic matchup than that?
Well, that semifinal number 2, I'm calling that the champs heat right there. Both world champions, both multiple world champions, faced off for that position in the final. And then look at semifinal number 1, Malia Manuel, inspiration, and Mana, energy. She's wearing that AI Forever jersey in honor of Andy Irons. I'm getting chicken skin right now.
Same.
It is, it's an incredible story.
Well, let's take a look at the highlights of Malia Manuel. I think from the first wave she surfed of this event, we all knew big things were going to happen. Style, grace, flow, power. She's doing it all right.
Well, she has the experience in really powerful waves coming from Kauai, but what we didn't know is that she was going to feel so at home in Mexico. A major reason why she's been getting those results is she finds the waves every single time she paddles out there. She is on a bomb.
Yeah, this was, Kaipo, this was one for the ages. I mean, with so many heats all day long, this is one that sticks out in your mind.
Yeah, and lots of action, you know. There were some slow periods, but really, when you look at it, Barra did provide, I mean, some of the best waves we've seen the entire year long, illustrated right here by Malia Manuel and her performances, not just the wave quality, but just great, great surfing.
Yeah, and so fun to watch because every heat, you know, there was no blowouts today. It was all evenly matched for each and every heat that we saw on the day. So the top 5 for the women and the men will be coming up next. And trust me when I say this is about to blow your mind. We're going to take a very quick break, but we'll be back with today's top 5. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the Corona Post Show, part of the Corona Open Mexico, presented by Quicksilver. Chris Cote here with Cali Carranza and Kaipo Guerrero. We know the names you want to see. Our semi-finalists are set tomorrow. Most likely, potentially, let's say, could be an epic finals day. Starting with the semi-finals for the women. The matchups there are stellar. We're talking about heats of the year material. And, of course, all eyes on Carissa Moore, Stephanie Gilmore in that semifinal number 2. That is just a matchup that every surf fan wants to see. But to kick us off in semifinal heat number 1, don't discount this matchup as well. Malia Manuel versus Sally Fitzgibbons. Let's make some picks, boys. Kaipo, who you got in this one?
Malia's got to win it. She's got to get into the finals. She's got to win this event. We want to keep Malia on tour. That's my pick.
I'm gonna give Kelly. Sorry, I gotta give you the hard pick. I'm not gonna make it easy for you, homie.
What do you mean?
Semifinals number 2, and Kelly Carranza's official pick to win is
Carissa Moore.
That was so solid. You just launched it right out there. I love it.
Easy. The way she's been surfing, unstoppable.
So it's easy to beat Stephanie Gilmore, is that what you're saying?
No. But the way she's been surfing here at Barra, as I see Strider kind of saying no to that one.
I will not throw you under the bus. Semifinal heat number 1, David Silva versus Leonardo Fioravanti. This one's tough to pick. Goofy versus regular. Both these surfers have been in form all week long. Got to throw it out to you, Kaipo.
Normally I'd go Team Goofy. You know I'm a Goofy foot. I'm part of the union, but I need to take a logical pick here with Leonardo Fioravanti. And why? Because the angle of his turns, the energy that he's bringing to his heat, and he's got something to prove. He's a young man with something to prove, and I think he's going to prove it in semifinal number 1.
That's going to be a biggie right there. Underdogs coming on top. But talk about this one. This is going to be a high-flying superheat. Jack Robinson versus Mateus Herde. Cali?
Mateus Ergi. The way he surfed against Italo, I feel like the confidence in this young man's life has just gone through the roof. This kid is showing the world that he's here, and here in a big way.
Yeah, a huge, huge statement from young Herde, who will be in the semifinals potentially tomorrow. And with all of that action wrapped up in a bow, we are so excited to bring to you the top 5 for the day. What an epic day it was. I do not envy the editors making the selections for these top 5 moments, because there was about 500 moments that were memorable. But we're going to start it off with Italo Ferreira defeating Kelly Slater, clinching his spot in the WSL Final 5. Well, what a way to do it, Kaipo.
Oh, yeah, great surfing. And you heard in his interview that we just had earlier on the show, now his attention 100% is going to go to the Rip Curl WSL Finals. He's going to be dangerous there. It's his year. He's been winning. He's got a gold medal in his pocket. He's taking it to lower trestles. Italo Ferreira.
Yeah, I think if you consider how much this kid surfs and how confident he is, like you were saying, Kaipo, I mean, trestle suits Italo so well, and I feel like he's one of the most dangerous surfers on that left.
Well, Kelly Slater made a very triumphant return. Full credit to Kelly, the GOAT. He came here and did himself proud, no doubt. Number 4, Tatiana Weston Webb versus Stephanie Gilmore. This was a slugfest from beginning to end. Both surfers posting huge numbers. Both knew the implications of this heat. Kaipo, I know you did the post-heat interview on this one, and that was an emotional moment.
Yeah, and you know what? Can we say win-win? Because we're going to be seeing both of these women at the Rip Curl WSL Finals to battle it out there at lower trestles. I think that is absolutely great because they've been standouts throughout this entire year. It's good to see Stephanie Gilmore put on the gas right at the end of the year, too.
Yeah, and showing a lot of emotion. She was tearing up in her post-heat interview, knowing that she has another chance to potentially get an 8th world title.
Well, Strider said it, the dark side of Stephanie Gilmore coming out here at Barra.
I love it. Now let's move on to number 3, Sally Fitzgibbons. She has been putting in such hard work throughout her entire career. She's always been right there on the edge of a world title. Well, she's clinched a spot in the Final 5. She did it in a big way.
I love the way Sally's been surfing here at Barra. It is so dynamic, top to bottom, really quick, kind of flying a little bit under the radar. A lot of emphasis on Carissa and Steph, but Sally could very easily take a win here in Mexico.
Yeah, she put on a very clutch performance. The hair whip says it all, but we knew this kid was good. But now we know he's great. Mateus Herde taking out Italo Ferreira with probably the most intense air of this entire contest.
You know, it's crazy. We were talking to Mateus yesterday after the comp, and he told us, you know what? I got some tricks that you guys haven't even seen yet. I've been kind of holding back. I'm ready for this. And he's a confident young man. And you know what? He backs it up with his surfing.
He's pretty funny because I got a chance to catch up with him midday, and when he found out that Tahiti was off, he was like, oh, so I guess Rio, you and I are the problem. But for us, the solution to great surfing.
Yeah, Mateus is going to be a problem for the rest of the top 34 for a long time. But a big story, number one, Connor Coffin coming from the depths of the top 10 to clinch his spot. And he did it in a huge way, beating Jeremy Flores in his final heat ever, but it was all love and joy and a celebration of a stellar career with Jeremy Flores.
That's right, Jeremy Flores, 200 heat wins, 4 CT victories, just a gem of a human being that's always spoken straight from his heart. He's brought so much entertainment for us through all these years. Jeremy Flores, what a great career he's had on the championship tour.
Yeah, in Spanish we say, no tiene pelos en la lengua. He has no hairs on his tongue. He just says what he thinks, and I love it.
I love to hear it. And again, congratulations and thank you, Jeremy Flores, for all you've done for surfing. Well, we've got a highlight package that you're going to love, and we're going to be back here tomorrow morning for more from the Corona Open Mexico presented by Quicksilver. Adios. Welcome, surf fans, to day 3 of the Corona Open Mexico. We're going to start with the world's best women in the lineup.
Courtney Conlog, but how about the bomb drop?
She's like a wave magnet. Look at that one.
Oh, that one's the one.
Textbook technique came in at a 9.5. Oh.
And now in the pit with Silvana Lima.
Isabella Nichols taking out 2-time world champion Tyler Wright.
There we go. Tati takes off. Sage Erickson in front of her.
Uh-oh, we have a priority situation.
Now she's calling me cheap. She's saying I cheap and da-da-da. I picked out because I didn't know.
What other rules?
Yeah, whatever.
Men's round 16 coming up next.
Gabriel Medina throws his whole board out the back.
Let's hear it for Jeremy Flores. That may be the last heat we see.
I spent most of my life doing this. You know, I hate losing just as much as before.
Mateus Hurdy straight into the tail high reverse.
Important wave for Jack Bravo.
Big layback snap. Time to fire it back up. This is the quarterfinals. Malia Manuel.
Stay on.
She crushes that beautiful power carve. Steph Gilmore.
The biggest moment in David Silva's career, taking out the world #1.
This copyrighted event broadcast is produced by the World Surf League for broadcast around the world and may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the